Welcome to an evening with John Jones, who is an EM modeler and has over the past year migrated to O-Gauge and has been one of the core team beta testing the latest incarnation of Templot with respect to 3D printing. If anyone has any specific requests, please let us know via chat so John can cover those too. Welcome, John. Thank you for joining us, and over to you.
Pleasure. Good evening. Tonight, I'm just going to give you a brief taster of how we go about 3D printing with Templot, starting from the standard 2D format of Templot, and then going through to how we actually create a print file and then on to printing. Now, the machine's printing away in the background. It's probably got another 40 minutes to go. I hope it doesn't distract you too much. Something I did a couple of days ago, a straightforward B6 turnout, 3D printed. It's in the latest incarnation of Templot 3D printing, which is, we call it the carrot system. It's basically, it's chairs on timbers, and you've also got 3D printed check rails and wing rails. So it actually makes the build very easy. You can do things a bit more complicated. This requires a little bit of in-depth knowledge of Templot, which I'm not going to go through, but it's a diamond crossing, again, 1 in 6, but the center section is being printed, and I'll show you that when it's finished. Before I open up Templot, I'd just like to give you a bit of history. Templot started off with plug track. As you can see, there's holes in the timbers. We either did FDM printed timbers or laser cut ones, and then chairs which were resin printed. We then found, as technology improved, we could actually 3D FDM print the chairs as well. That was the original plug track. It then went to a thing called cop track. No need to try and remember all these different things, but basically we thought, well, instead of doing plug track, we'll just print the chairs onto the timbers. The only problem was that we had to do a few bits of jiggery pokery to get things like wing rails to fit. So we had, let's see if I can do it, stub chairs, if you can see those funny ones down there. So we slid the wing rail in and then glued the chairs afterwards. The latest version, as I said, is the carrot track. Makes life so much easier. You just slide in the V rails, the stock rails, and the switch rails. So it makes the life of a track builder so much easier. We can also, at the same time, print filing jigs off. This is a 1 in 6 to easily print file off the common crossing. They're reusable a certain degree, but they're not very expensive to print. We've also got ones for switch rails as well. I might cover that later. Anyway, down to how we do it. Bear with me a second. Now I press share.
Yes, John.
I then press Templot. It's opened up a turnout. So this is the B6. What I didn't show you was the way we started up. When you open Templot up, the first thing is you have to, hold on. Can you still see this?
Yes.
That's good. You first have to go into gauge. It starts it up on what they call T55. So that's not a gauge at all, and it forces everybody to set the gauge they want. So you simply fit your Gauge Guild fine, which I've got there. It always comes up curved. The next thing is if you hit template and you just hit new template, you can now create a template whatever size you wish. So it's all tick boxes. If you want a B7, you go B7, right hand, you want it straight, you say that, and there's your template, your template that's done. If I close this, if you want a straightforward straight turnout, there you are. If you want to change the length, you just do length, and you can add more timbers to it, take it away, but that's perfectly okay leaving it as it is. If you want it curved, you can either set curve and set a radius, or I've just done here swirl. As you can see, I can curve it. All the chairs will automatically move into the correct place, and you're there. Now, I really do need to go on the other one because I haven't got Templot. I've got Templot 5 on my desktop, but I haven't got Cura, etc. You've got a 2D template, and that's all you need to start off with.
You'll need to stop the share on this one, John, before you share the Elegoo.
So stop share. That's it. Have I got this up and running? Yeah. So here I don't share. Template. We're there. So I'll quickly do what we did before. Hold on a second. That control panel's in the way. It's not designed to hit the template boxes. There we go. Template, new template. We wanted a right hand, B7, and we want it straight. There's always two ways of doing it. So we've got a basic template here. We then go into Templot 5. So there's a box on the edge. Now, this is the 3D element.
We've lost your share again.
Okay.
Don't know why it keeps doing this.
No, because I've opened a new box up. Yeah, because I've gone to Templot 5. It's a different program. Trackpad. So there we go. We've got the B7 back again. Hold on, I just need to pull this down. We now have to remember a process. And what I used to do was to get these sort of index cards. If you can see me on the thing, they're just white index cards. And I used to write the steps down, 1 to however many is needed. But we basically simply press the button which says 3D. Now, for the latest carrot design, we simply have to press that box, press the green bit, press OK, that converts it. We now have to make, if I come out of that, a copy. So I've now got a background copy, which Templot 5 will do. Down here on this next dialog box, it's got DXF STL file export.
We can't see that, John.
You can't.
For some reason, we get in your screen 16:9, so we're not seeing the top and the bottom.
Oh, I've got a green thing come up. Hold on a second. Let me cancel things down. Cancel. Yeah, so you need everything in that green box. we've got this box. You saw where I pressed caret setting.
Yes. Yeah.
But then on the top of Templot, for whatever reason, this green box, I pressed something where background. Yeah. On the top of Templot, and I'm just trying to think how I can get it in the green box. You should be able to see that now. Yes. You
Yeah.
make up
Yeah. Got the top.
the two buttons there that
Yeah.
actually generates a background template. So we've now got the background template. We go back to this box, and that's the 3D box. You just press STL files. If only I could make this bigger. So if we got somebody who knows technology, yeah, no, I've lost all my ability to control things on the bottom there. See if I can drag this down. Screen share, right, stop share. I'm going to just try and open it out again. Share. I'm screen share. That's come back
That's
up
got
now.
it. That's got it,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah. Somehow I minimized it. You get this dialog box, and you just basically tick FDM printing with a 4mm nozzle. So that's saying that I don't want to resin print, laser cut. Top track, because the caret version of the track is a variant of pop. And then I've got to make sure I've got the right rail fit. It automatically goes to code 75. I want to change the rail section. So I change it to C&L, code 125. And then I'm ready to make a file. What we can do, and I'm probably going to have to muck about again a little bit, is preview the export file. So it's going to show you in 3D image what the export file is going to look like. So hold on, you can't see this now, can you?
No.
Stop sharing, 1 second. Share. I remember Martin having these issues when we were Zooming. Share there. Will come up. It should come up.
In this instance, John, it might be just easier to share your desktop rather than
I haven't got that program on the desktop.
No, I mean your desktop on your laptop. So rather than having to share a specific software package, if you just share your screen, then you can pick and choose, can't you?
Can
Yeah.
you see that now?
3D tool. Yeah.
Right, good. So talk me about now what that basically is done. It's showing me I've made a 3D file. Now it's been a little bit hit or miss as far as doing it on Zoom, but you get used to it and it's second nature. Now what you can do if you want is to move it around and see what it looks like in various angles. But we know that you check it to make sure all the chairs are there, they're not being conflicted, but we know the file will print. However, we have a next move we have to do. So I have to cancel that. Share. I go back to Templot. I've got to hit the DFX and STL file again. So then I'll go stop sharing and 10 second share. And I now want to find Right. Can you see this screen now?
That's gone back to your export DXF STL file
Yeah,
screen. Yeah,
that's what we want.
yeah,
So the blue box there is a preview button. To actually physically make, or really what we're doing now is to mesh fix the file. You press the green button, you call it whatever you want to call it. I'll just put test on. Can you see my screen or not?
yes.
You can.
Yeah, we can.
Just put test. Test already exists. But he's got it. And then you have to press it. And what's going to happen now? This will take quite a while, so I won't let it go completely. But you basically import the file. You can see this, can you?
That's gone back to your trackpad on Templot.
Oh, right. So I need to share this.
Yeah, I can't see the mesh tool.
Right. Share. Just got to find the mesh tool wherever it went. There we go. Now, this is the mesh fixing tool.
Yep.
You press the insert, which loads your file that needs fixing on there. You then press this button and it's repairing. Now, it can take several minutes for that to occur. What we actually do when that's finished and says fixed, we go up here, we press the save button, and then we delete it. Now, we've mesh fixed the file. The next thing we do is simply to go to a file called Cura. That's not up yet, is it? No.
No.
Put Cura. Cura. That's the one I want. It was hiding. Now, you have to take off what you had there previously. So you go to edit, you clear the build plate. So you want to populate the build plate. And if I go back a step, we cannot print an O gauge turnout in one section because it's 510 millimeters long and the build plate is purely 210 long. So we print it in 3 sections. So I simply put it on there. You press slice. That's the middle section of the B6. It's slicing. Now here it's telling us it's going to take 1 hour, 42 minutes to print, and we're going to use 24 grams of filament. Now, if I go back to my home screen, so stop sharing. Right, you can see me on here. You just use one of these USB things that you stick into the side of the computer. You press transfer and it goes on the stick. The stick then goes into the computer, and then you basically just find on your pad where the file is, press print, and it carries on. Now, when we do the design stage, I did a complete design for a B6, which won't fit on my build plate. So what we do, we print them in what we call bricks. So that's the crossing, that's the middle, and there's the switch end. So we do, to create a FDM base for a turnout, we had to do that 3 times. So to go back onto Templot, sure. Fine. It's not coming up. 1 second. Stop share. Share. There we go. Templot 5 trackpad. Now, I've got that. The problem we have is that we can't, unless you've got a print bed that is 510 mils long, you can't print in one go. The simplest way to do it is you go length, and then you bring it back to 200 mil approximately. Delete the background template, and then I have to press and build a new template, background one, and so that's a brick done. You simply do what I did before, which is DFX file, just go through the same process, and you go down. If you want to preview it, you can preview it, or you can just go straight into the export function. Stepping back a section, that's all well and good for doing that one section there. If you want to do the middle section, you simply go length and make your template longer. I'll stop it before the common crossing. We want to get rid of that bit behind, so we use this thing here, and it's called blanking. And the blanking will just take it down. Delete the old background and the new one. Press the double arrow, and that gives you a middle section. So each section you do at a time, and you create a print file. So in the end, on your dongle, you end up with 3 files. I always put them switch, mid, and crossing. With the cop track, what you will end up with is, sorry, the carrot track. I'll do the crossing only, and I'm gonna, hold on, have to, you simply thread in, well, let me maximize, sorry.
You'll have to stop the share, John.
Yeah.
You stop the share on your laptop.
Oh, all right.
That's it.
Right. Okay, I'll do this again. You file up your V-rails, and you just simply slide them in,
Yeah.
and there's a stop.
Lift it up further.
Yeah.
That's it.
See, there's a stop in there where
Yeah.
it won't go any further. Likewise with your second V-rail, again, you slide it in and it goes to a stop. Your stop rails, again, you just simply slide them through. Now, you will have two extra grips where you'll be sliding on the stock rails through them. But I found with 7mm rail, you don't actually need to put brick clips in at all. For your switch rails, again, you just fabricate them and simply just slide them in position. Now here, you've got a fully functional working common crossing. Sorry, I'm putting it in the wrong way. Without any building
Lift it up a bit more, John.
sorry, without building any sub-assemblies at all whatsoever. Something that will fit, this is a P4 A5. Now I was able to print that across the print bed, and I made it in just one brick. So, but it's exactly the same. The switch rails, these are a bit stiffer. They just slide in, and all I now need to do is to do some bonding wires. So I electrically bond across the two V rails, and then again electrically bond between the stock rail and the switch rail. And then you've got a fully working turnout. With O-gauge, it's just that a little bit bigger. And so the size itself is obviously longer. Wow, pretty big to go in there. The printer's finished. And what we've got here is the well and truly. I'm taking it off too soon and damaging it. I should have waited. The plastic hasn't solidified. But this is the center section of the diamond crossing. That I've done here. And we basically build up the obtuse crossings using a selection of chairs that we can print up. We just take away the timbers, and I find that with this FDM material, I use
EMA.
plastic weld.
Yeah, plastic weld. Yeah.
So butanone doesn't work on it. Other people, super glue works on it. Martin likes using epoxy resin. So to stick them in place. But I'm sorry that was a bit disjointed with the technology. But the process is quite simple.
Is that it?
Any questions? And
Yeah.
then if there's anything else you want me to go through, for instance, like things like filing jigs. I showed you here, we've got a two-piece V filing jig. Now, this is the filing jig built together, and you just put the rail through the end. It goes in there and you file across. Very cheap. You can print them off automatically. So if you do a 3D template, when you go into the 3D section, rather than printing off the trackpad, you can print off the filing jigs. So you can print these to whatever angle you want. I did a three-way turnout for a friend in P4, and the first crossing V was something like 3.8 angle. Well, I was able to print off one of these simply by doing a turnout with a crossing V of 3.8. And I ended up with a jig that would allow me to accurately file the rails. Switch rails is a bit different, although Martin's come up with a very ingenious method. You need one, if I've got a piece of rail, where you file the backs of the rails where they touch the stock rails, and it just basically goes in there and you file the back off. Sorry, you can't see it. So you slide it through and you just file the back. For the inside, we have two jigs because you need to file the head off, but not the foot of the rail. So we have a left and a right jig. As you can see, the jig itself is at an angle so that when you put the rail's a bit bent, but when you put it through, the top part protects the head and you can file off, sorry, protects the foot, and you can file the head off. Very useful, easy to make. Another function we've added in with the jigs is that we've got tie bars.
Yeah.
Well, they come up. If you can see this, the tie bars there. And you glue the inside of the switch rails to the tie bar. So if I get the function one there, and it's come unstuck. This one I used super glue. However, I used epoxy resin on this slit and it gives you a much better grab. But obviously you can't solder. But you don't have to use these. This is just something Martin's designed and put in. Any questions? Or anything else you want me to go back over?
There's been quite a few questions coming through, John. So
that's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, if we start with Phil first.
Yes.
Just say which programs you're actually using.
Right, okay. The programs we use, of Templot obviously, but we use a program called 3D Builder. It's what they call a mesh fixing program. So what it does, it makes sure there's no gaps. So it looks at your program and you've got to turn everything into a solid. What actually happens is as the printer goes across, it prints in 1/10 of a millimeter layer. So if something is 3 mil tall, it's going to have 30 passes. So the first thing you do, the mesh picture, make sure there's no potential problems that would stop the printing of the article. So you make sure it's solid. We then go and use a program called Cura, which is a slicing program. So that last program I showed you, where it sort of quickly did it, that tells the printer what to print at each pass. Now, I think a 7 mil turnout would be about 7 mils tall. So you've got 70 passes. So the only two programs we use, as I say, is 3D Builder, which is I believe a Windows program. So
Yeah.
you've got no problem there. And we use a program Cura, but we use the version we use is called 5.6. But somebody, if you want more details, you can message me or go on to Templot Club, RM Web, and I can go back over. Or, as I say, come and see us at GuildX, and we can sit you down and take you through it.
Ian's very kindly put hyperlinks on the chat program to both of those programs, John, so people can pick those off or just do a screenshot and get those so that they can look at them later.
Well,
and we'll put them in the video as well for people.
Okay, yeah, that's above my pay grade, but I'm happy to tell you what it is that we put in there.
Yeah,
but they're basic programs, so I think it does depend on what printer you have as well. I think if people have got the newer printers, the Bamboos, they've got their own slicing program, from what I know. So it will be printer orientated.
Yeah. There was a question about the purpose of mesh fixing, and Don Wilsmer actually answered that and said, mesh fixing is because Templot has assembled a number of images and the mesh fixing ensures they become coherent. So I think just saying about making them all into one.
I think Martin explained to me once, and I probably wasn't listening as carefully as I should have been. It's all V's that interlock, and the mesh fixing just makes sure that there's no gaps in the mesh. If there's a gap in the mesh, it won't print. You'll have a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Emma's asked, in the common crossing,
Yep.
are point and splice rails just slid in and left, or are they soldered together later?
Right. What we found that if the rails are slightly loose, we put a bit of super glue or epoxy on the foot of the rail. We pull the rail out very slightly with a smear of glue to push them in, but we solder them together on the rear. You need an electrical bonding wire, plus you need a dropper wire. So you just get some wire and make a bonding stroke dropper. There's no need to solder the V's whatsoever. The other thing is that the way the design that the rail fits in to the print, you don't file both sides of the V. It needs the foot of the unfiled section so that it can register properly when it slides in. So the first one I think can you see there's a little slot in there, so it registers it into that slot there.
Yeah.
So you know the old-fashioned way of filing both sides of the V, you don't do that. So you fix that. Also, you want a little bit of a blunt nose on it, as you would do anyway doing a V. The second rail though splices into the first one, so that you do want it as sharp as anything, and it just goes in. But where we said about fixing, if the rails are slightly loose, all you want to do is to pull it back slightly, put a dab of glue there, and then push it back, and that will hold the whole rail, no problem.
Okay, hopefully that's answered your question, Emma. But if there's any other queries, do just add another query in chat.
With the carrot track, on purpose, the knuckle is slightly proud, and all you need to do is to get a bit of emery cloth and just file it into the rail. Rail heights will vary slightly, so you may well find it's a thou proud when you just do it. But likewise, you could easily, with the switch rail, just put a dab of glue and push that home. But one I made earlier, can you see the bonding wires?
Yeah.
That's between the stock rail and the switch rail, and then likewise the V rails. Now they will, secondary thing, they hold them in place. If sometimes you might have an accident and you break a chair, don't throw the broken bit away. Plastic World glues it back in place. Super glue you can do, but Plastic World is ever so good. The cot track, if people prefer to have real rails for their check rails, now whether it's a diamond or a turnout, you can actually have whole chairs here with FDM and just slide the rails in, if you see it. So you don't overbend the flares on the check rails, but there's enough flexibility, we found, in sliding it. The other thing we've found, the quality of filament varies. So one thing we've found is there's a make called Sunlu, SUNLU, and we use PLA plus. Now that is much better than most other makes. Bamboo also do an excellent filament, but that is Bamboo basic PLA. But again, if somebody can't remember, just send me a message through here, through Templot, through Western Thunder or whatever, and I'll happily sort of go through that again. But the make of resin, sorry, filament, really does matter. The other benefit with carrot track is if you look on the wing rail, you've got the bolts. Can you see that go in the side of the wing rails?
Yeah.
So it gives you added detail. On the back, and I haven't taken them off, for printing, we got print supports on there. Now, basically, once it's printed, you just cut them off. So you go, and you just remove them. And of course, you haven't got any unwanted bits of plastic underneath
Hold it higher up, John.
themselves. Oh, sorry. You haven't
Okay.
got any unwanted bits of plastic
Yeah.
once you cut them off. That's the wrong side. So if I do it on that side where I've taken it off.
Yep.
But it's very simple. The thing is that I learned by watching other people, and then I got index cards, and I just wrote down each step. So basically, you make yourself a 2D template, and it's as simple as just going in, selecting your gauge, and selecting the size of turnout. If you want it curved, you can curve it. You then go into Templot 5, and you simply have to press the buttons. I think you're going to have to go back through this, or perhaps I could make a video where it's not chopping and changing, but it's remembering which buttons you press, and there's not that many. It's so easy, and then you have to go mesh fix it, which is just pressing a couple of buttons, then open Cura, pull the file into the slicer, it slices it in no time. You then put it onto one of those little
USB stick.
USB sticks, and in the computer, you go to print, you look up the file, and just press, and you hope it works.
Andrew Taylor from the USA asks, what size nozzle are you using on your base?
Right.
0.4, isn't it?
Yeah, this is quite important. If you're doing 4mm, which most people won't be on here, you need a 0.2 nozzle. I've printed these turnouts with a 0.4, but you really, these are 4mm ones, and I've used a 4mm nozzle, but I'm really pushing what my Neptune can do. So you have to make sure that the printer itself is tuned in, the belts are tight, your filament is dry, which is most important. Also, make sure that your nozzle is at the right height. It's just tightening everything up, and it will work. But for 7mm, a 0.4 is fine. Now, if you want, on the print beds are 210 square, so you could, if you wish, put you could actually put two side by side on there and print them. The only thing is that it will probably take 6 or 7 hours to print it. The smallest one will take about 2 hours. That one's about 2.5, and this one will be about 3. It's the volume of filament that it's laying down. So it will take approximately the same time doing these individually as it would take to do them together.
Yeah.
So, and if you're doing 4mm, we have little clips that the bricks go onto. Sorry, that you can clip the bricks together. Now, I found in 7mm, the mass of the rail is sufficient to hold everything in line. Whether you're doing a diamond, the rail is the strength.
Yeah.
But it's the mystery is just getting your head around the process of how it works. It's a bit like if you remember when you first learned to drive, you had to worry about the gear lever, plus you had to look to see where your feet, which pedals they were going on. At the same time, you had to look where you were going. After doing it a few times, it becomes second nature. And some people they just it's like James. He looks at things once and that's it. He's stored everything. For me, I had, for the first 3 months or so, I had to go buy the index cards because
Yeah.
it's not the strange thing is it's not complicated. It's just several things you have to do at the same time, just to get you through.
On that basis, David Walton asked, could a flow diagram be generated for a simple turnout to help understand the process?
Yes.
That's a good answer. Short, succinct, to the point.
Well,
If I,
Yes, it
if
can.
I,
I think it is. Perhaps what I might be able to do is to put something up in the resources, whereby I could do a write up and put the odd photo in. So I think we got
Yeah.
resource screen, have we?
can I just interject?
Please do.
Because when I first had a go, Martin helpfully did a little flashback video for me,
Yeah.
which I found helped me get the process right.
Look, what was it? James Walters, Bexhill West fame, has done 3, if not 4, video tutorials. And they will give you an excellent basis for doing that. But, and I will say that there's a very big but, Templot is fluid, and things progress and move on. So what James was showing in the early tutorials are a little bit out of date. And much the same with Martin's tutorials. If you dig into Templot deep enough, there's lots of little things. But let's see. On Templot Club, we've certainly got lots of bits, and there's resources there where there's clips. There's people like myself leave things on the forum, how we build this, that, and the other. So there's a bit generated there, but I'm happy if you want to do a bit of a flow chart showing what goes where and when, but on the basis that it will develop over the years because Templot moves on. Before Carrot Track came out, I was a little bit skeptical about having filament printed check rails and wing rails. After the first one that I built, I was sold. The simplicity in building a turnout, it's just so easy. You've got no complicated sub-assemblies to build. You can check the gauge with your gauges, but you don't need any track gauges, mint gauges, check rail gauges. It all works. What I do is I tend to build things on boards. So I print myself out the template and glue it, and then simply I can yeah, trouble is I should have sellotaped it down. You can just lay it on a board and then you can just build your turn up with it. But unfortunately it's surprisingly easy to build. So the mystique of not being able to build track is all gone.
I think one of the biggest things, certainly looking at it from my perspective, is, I've built track, not just for a couple of groups that I'm involved with, but also for other people, is the worst part of it is sitting there threading chairs on rail.
Oh, crikey. Yeah.
Thread a chair, thread a chair, thread a chair. Oh, I've got that one on the way around or upside down, take it off. But this just makes it so easy. You just threading the rails straight onto the almost like your finished point work, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's not only that. You've got the right chairs.
Yeah.
So if I put them up there,
Yeah,
so you've got all the block chairs down here, all neatly done.
yeah,
If you want, it's up to you. You can have J chairs, which is the joint chairs,
yeah,
or you can change them. When it comes to the common crossing, again, you've got all the right block chairs.
yeah.
Now this is the cot variant. So this is where you will have to slide steel check rails and steel wing rails. And as you see, you've got these funny little things sticking up. Now, you only use the top 3 or 4 millimeter. That's why they're called stub. The chair itself, bear with me, the bottom. When I take this wing rail out,
That's it.
there we go. I've got a broken chair there, but there should just be 2 chairs which it goes in. And then the rest of the chairs, you've got funny little holes. Now those holes is extra space for glue, because these stub chairs, you can probably see now, it's the top 3 or 4 mil that you carefully cut off. And if you do it correctly, you can actually wedge them in place. Now, you can either glue them, well, you have to glue the stub chairs in place, but you could use super glue, plastic weld, or araldite. Martin's favour is to use araldite, and there's no reason not to do it. But you can very easily, with Cot-Track, thread a formed check rail through, because there's enough give. But make sure you don't overbend the flares. That's all. Just go by the rail. But really, we're only just finding out what we can actually do. I showed you that this is more involved templotting, but you know that's a single slip. Somebody's just building pull.
Hold it up a bit more, John.
Double slip in P4. So
Yeah.
This wasn't very difficult to build. As you can see, it's using Cot-Track, because you've got the telltale things, but you cut these out. You don't need those webs at all. They're only there to hold the stub chairs at each end. But all the middle, you just build up as you would build. But the main thing is that the common crossings are all there, all gauged, all at exactly the right angles. And if you use carrot track, you haven't got to worry about whether you've bent the knuckle correctly. Is the knuckle in exactly the right place? It's done and dusted for you.
Yeah.
And of course the price. The bases. Now a kilo, I think the last one I bought was £11. Now one of these prints will 50p for a base, so you're probably talking about £1.50 in material. Now you've obviously got to buy the machine, you've got your misprint, so it will cost you a little bit more than that. But when you think the cheapest turnout is probably about £70,
probably not far off.
Yeah, and you're constrained to the geometry that the manufacturer makes it. The one thing with Templot is you can design it for whatever you want. 1 second.
But even if you're buying timbers, chairs, rail from Phil at C&L, it's still going to cost you a lot more.
Okay. How much is a C&L turnout kit now?
Depends upon the kit, but I know that because Phil's gone over to Code 131 rail, his prices have gone through the roof.
Yeah, but this is one part of I can't remember it's trailing or facing crossover, but we've got
Trailing.
tom bars in there. But It's on a nice subtle curve. You just couldn't do that with conventional ready-to-run track, or even see. You could do it hand building it, because obviously you would use the same plan from Templot that you would use scratch building, but the ease with which you can do you can build these things is phenomenal. So and this is the old plug track versions with all the stub chairs. That's going to be redundant because I'll print it again and I'll just do it in Carrot. It just makes life so easy. And providing your locos are well maintained, you haven't got a problem with them going over what is basically an isolation break. They just glide over. I've got a Dapol Terrier. Glides over it, as does an Ixon 060. If you've got 040s, you've got to make sure that the chassis are straight, because the only problem you may have, you've got a twisted chassis, you may well find one wheel's up in the air and the other one's on a bit of filament. But that's the only problem with Carrot Track, potentially. The other thing is, though, you could shorten the length by taking it back to the chair. But I'm sold on the new Carrot version.
Fit to stay alive.
Pardon?
Fit to stay alive.
Can't do that with DC, Don.
Good reason to change.
I use stay alive things. I'm a bit old fashioned, so I don't do DCC. It's nothing wrong with it. What I found is, if you've got a problem with your loco, invariably it's the chip, and finding out what the problem is potentially, is much more difficult than a conventional DC loco. You can follow the wiring back, and you don't need a meter to check that all the resistors or whatever are doing what they should do. But still, different subjects.
Terry has sent me a message privately. Probably worth mentioning that John and I are able to load Templot files from a USB stick at Stafford Guildex if anyone wants us to review, fix their box file, and create export files if required. So he's dropped you in it there, John. Although he said John and I.
No, look, we don't mind what we do. If somebody wants to come along with a USB stick and wants us to create a print file for them, not a problem. Terry's the technician, and what Terry's doing, he's doing some superb things with the plug track. He's got half chairs, so if you want to thread check rail chairs on, he's done different ones. He's now done a 2mm junction for somebody. Amazing stuff. But no, we will have everything there, and of course we haven't got the problem of sharing screens and everything. So if you come along, we'll have computers with us with screens. I'll have my printer going on in the background. Whether anybody's got questions on 2D or 3D Templot, Martin is going to be with us on the Saturday. So you've got the guru there. Well,
he's with us tonight as well.
Yes, yeah. He's going to have a sleepless night, and I'm going to get an email in the morning wrapping me over the knuckles. That's if he hasn't had too many boiled eggs for breakfast.
Is-
No, it's yeah, whatever we can do, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's very much easier on a one-to-one basis. We, you know, when you're sort of, it does involve having a couple of problems, and the thing is that on the laptop, it's a seamless transition between Templot 2 and Templot 5.
Mhm.
Now, the problem here is that you've got to unshare your screen and reshare it. And I'm afraid I'm not that technical as far as doing Zooms are concerned. And Martin and the rest at Templot Club, they've sort of nursed me along from not being able to do anything at all to at least being able to sort of print out a few turnouts, diamonds, slips, and it's all possible, it really is. But technology moves on a step.
Mhm.
The new bamboo machines are far easier, from what I understand, for the novice to use. Um, the um, the Elegoo Neptune 4 I've got is superb. However, it's slightly agricultural in the way that it's designed, and it's designed for a price. So, you know, if you wanted something that's slightly better quality, you obviously spend a bit more money. But it's printing very reliable prints exceptionally well. Ideal for 7mm.
Okay. There's a couple more things. We
Yeah,
talked
go
about
ahead.
the flow diagram, which people would find very useful, and there's also been a mention from Phil saying making a YouTube video would be very useful as well in due
Oh,
course.
God.
Don
That-
Wilsmer has mentioned
James. Um, it's really worth. Sorry to interrupt, Jackie. James Walters,
Yeah.
very gifted person, school teacher. He knows how to communicate. He has his own little YouTube channel, Bexhill West. Now, he's got 3, if not 4, things about Templot 3D printing. Now, the early ones, we used to, or still do, print chairs in resin. And a lot of the early work was on 4mm. But the principles are much the same. Where the divergence comes in is how we actually print things. 7mm lends itself to FDM filament printing, which is a lot cleaner, easier to use than printing chairs in resin. Some people, Terry, do laser cutting. So if you want real wooden timbers, bear with me a second. Terry's got a small little business, cosmic.co.uk. Now, this is a laser cut. Was it V6? Yep. Okay, and it was a joy to build. So like 3-4mm timbers, small little plug-in chairs. A bit more involved with the check rail chairs, because you have to thread all the chairs on. He's done them in half, and he's much the same with some of the V chairs. But other, more difficult to build than obviously just threading chairs on an FDM print. You have got the benefit that you've got real wood, fly timbers, but Terry's he's got a whole host of services that he can offer, and you can order he's got filing jigs that he sells. and it's cosmic.co.uk. That's KOSMIK. Cosmic.
Ian's added the link at the bottom of the chat, so that's
Yeah.
Added the
helpful.
link. Alex has added the link. I just put
Oh,
the
Alex has added it. Excellent.
Well done. Thank you.
Lots of comments about joining Templot Club, which would help people, and you can almost create a whole layout plan and just print it in small bricks. And then we've got a query from Phil again. With the FDM wing rails, there must be an electrical section when crossing the V.
Sorry, I thought I covered that in sort of the
Yeah.
questions. If you want metal ring rails, use the COT system, which is where you have the stub chairs. So what I find is that I use solid chairs for the check rail because you can easily thread them. But if you're of a thinking that you want the electrical contacts, don't use carrot, use COT.
yeah, perfect.
It comes exactly the same. But once you've built a carrot turnout, you won't want to build COT. But I've got a really bad, awful video on Western Thunder. Made Terry laugh. I've got a dapple terrier going through a carrot turnout, Exon, Huswell Clark, and a kit built. Actually, I think it was a CCW 14XX.
Mhm.
Though it's got a slightly better chassis than the old CCW ones. Oh, pressed the button I shouldn't have done.
It's all right. We can still see you.
Oh, that's good. I can't see myself. Yeah, no, it isn't a problem. We're not having metal rails at all. So I'm just trying to see myself again. Oh well, that's all right.
Philip Taylor's actually said if you go dead rail, you can print the rail and everything.
Well, you can always put a battery in.
Yep, that's right.
I think again, hold on. Martin sent something in the post to me ages ago. How can I put myself back on? I'm not unsure.
Use the other screen.
Pardon?
Use the other screen.
Use the other screen.
But we can't see that. Hold on, bear with. If I do add spotlight, there we go.
Right, sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, you can see it now on the bottom of here.
Yeah.
Martin sent it through, and there is a version where you can do battery track. So it's printed the rail out. It's so much cheaper than buying nickel silver rail. So
Yeah.
forget about DCC. Go radio control.
Absolutely. Well,
but we don't know how FDM prints are going to react outside.
Mm-hmm.
The way I paint them is I get some etched primer from Halfords, and I can't. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. Let me put spotlight again. There we go.
I don't know why I can't get what I've done.
We can see the 4mm etch primed track though.
Yeah. And then I just use acrylic paint. So
all right, you're getting feedback.
I've done it now. I clicked somehow unmute. So no, paint them with acrylic paint. Now I think I used Revel aqua color.
Yeah.
So that was okay.
Just
Yeah.
going back to costs, John Walker's
Yeah.
mentioned that he bought an electrical usage monitor, and the cost of running his Neptune 4 is about the same as the cost of the filament. So it just shows that some people do worry about how much electrical usage there's going to be from running printers, and it's fairly minimal.
Yeah, sometimes there's very bad press. What was it? On the radio, there was somebody complaining that they couldn't afford to cook their chicken. It was going to cost them £10 an electric oven. Well, if they spent 10 quid on their electric oven, it would be burnt to cinders. But it would be, a kilowatt is what, 25p
Yeah, something like
kilowatt
that.
hour? Yeah. And oh, this is really annoying me. Oh, there we go. I'm back again. There's going to be an extra cost, but this Bamboo Labs filament, it was costing me £19 at the beginning of the year. Now, including postage, you can buy it direct from Sunlu for £11.
Hmm.
Now, that's a kilo. If one of these bricks costs is 27 grams, that's 29p.
Yeah.
I can't. It is. I don't know what the kilowatt hour is, but I think our washing machine uses far more kilowatts than what our printer does. Yeah, it's minimal. I don't notice whether I'm using the printer all day or not using it at all, as far as the electricity bill is concerned. So yeah, it's the rail that costs the money.
Yeah.
So, if you're thinking £1.50 for a base of a turnout, and then probably cost you £10 to make a turnout.
25.73 pence per kilowatt hour for a typical household.
Yeah, probably. I think mine's 25 point whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it just doesn't use it. Yeah, it really does. It's like I presume it's like having a slow cooker on, having
Yeah.
a light bulb. Change from a fluorescent light to an LED light, and you get the money back. But the cost is very much. I don't want to undo what commercial people do, because it's very easy to say, well, that's going to cost 30p or whatever to print. The problem is it's the cost of getting there, in buying the machinery, the time you've spent developing. I think I probably wasted about 4 or 5 reels of filament, but I haven't wasted the reels. I've used 4 or 5 reels developing how I use the system and improving upon it. Now, there's nothing wrong with some early turnouts I did a year ago. It's just that the new stuff we're doing is so much better.
Mm.
But it is easy, right? If we get a flow chart, but each step, there's about 4 or 5, or say half a dozen things you do, and you go 2D into 3D. You then have to mesh fix, slice, and then it goes on the printer. But the printer sometimes can give us headaches.
Yeah.
Mm. David, going back to kilowatt per hour, David Weddleton, who I didn't realise was in Quebec, says probably equivalent 4p per kilowatt hour. And Phil Taylor of Virginia, he says 12.5 in the US. So I don't know if that's pence or cents, Phil, but yeah, we do pay some of the highest rates for power in this country.
Yes, yeah. I've got solar panels, so when it's sunny, it doesn't cost me anyway.
Yeah, Phil's just come back and said it is in cents.
Yeah.
Going back to dead rail,
Yep.
John Walker said he's been using ASA filament outside on 7mm cot and carrot track for a few months. No sign of deterioration as yet. It's not painted or treated.
Right. But ASA filament, I think, is designed to be outside. But also you need a machine that's capable of printing it, and I don't think Neptune is. Plus, it has to be done in a ventilated room because of the fumes that are produced. So,
Right.
Okay.
I could be wrong on a couple of points of that, but I know Terry's got a super duper all dancing machine, but is able to do that. But for the home, I'm a home enthusiast, so that's sort of beyond the spectrum.
Well, John's just come back and said ASA is fine on his Neptune 4.
Oh, is it?
Yep. So
Fine. Okay. But the one that works outside or is designed to go outside. I know that you really do need a specialist machine to deal with it. So, yeah,
The early Pico used to be affected by sunlight.
probably still is.
Well, but people I know with garden layouts used to put yacht varnish on it,
Yeah.
and that used to stop it because
Um,
the yacht varnish is UV protecting.
we don't. So I don't think it's ultraviolet that's a problem with the filament. I think it's moisture. So if it's going outside, you need to paint it.
Yeah.
So that's why I use etched primer to start off with, so it gets a good grip. And then if you paint it, it will get protection. Yeah, I think the sunlight does affect it, but it's not necessarily the thing that might affect it more could be dampness. Certainly, I had problems today because the moisture that my dry box created, I didn't vent it enough.
Yeah.
And so the first metre or two was played up a bit. But
in fact, Phil Taylor's mentioned filament dryer helps with good prints. And
yes,
John Walker, who said that he's using exactly the same setup as yours, says that his filament is fed from a dryer. So obviously, if people are wanting to go outside with it, they're using the filament dryer.
no, filament dryers to aid the printing. Nothing to do with going outside. If the filament absorbs too much moisture, you will get potentially stringing and also adhesion problems. Yeah, I've got a dryer. I think I should have spent a bit more money and got a posh one. So, but it was a less known situation when we got these to start off with. It's a bit like my first printer is the King Room, which lasted me for a year, cost me £150 because these Neptunes were 250, but it taught me that I could use these 3D printers. The Neptunes came down. It is so much quicker, and the detail is better, but it's a more modern machine than what the King Room was. Now these latest bamboo variants and presumably other makes that are coming along again are much the same. They're just taking it a step further on. But the base principle is that all you need to do, you go into Templot, and it's now a very easy process to generate a template of the turnout. You can then migrate to Templot 5, and by following a flow chart, and I'm quite happy to try and put pen to paper. And just by following a routine of simple processes, you will get through. Now, yes, do join Templot Club. There's an awful lot about 3D printing that's on there, which may answer some of the questions. If I did a video, it would be out of date in a year. If you look at James's videos, it's worth watching them. They're excellent. But he released one last year, and it was out of date within 2 weeks. So just one of those things.
Andrew Taylor has said, I have
Yeah.
a PLA house number on the front of my house. Still looks good after 8 years. No paint.
Oh, that's good. Oh.
Yeah.
But look, I remember that when I first started building C&L based turnouts, people were saying, well, you really need to solder the common crossings in place, and if not, have the odd copper clad timber there to hold it in place, and this, that, and the other. And I think in the end, I built a turnout that functionally held everything together with plastic. It had a bit of soldering in it, in so much that you've got to put dropper wires in and things. Look, I'm sure this is all right. I've thrown away a lot of the prints that I did 2 years ago, and whilst they've been indoors, they haven't suffered at all. And in fact, I think this is over 2 years old with the plug track.
Yeah.
And it's as good as what I'm printing out, but it's given what it was, we've moved on, and Templot will keep moving on. But that doesn't mean to say that it's impossible to learn. It's like riding a bike. Once you learn how to balance on it, if something changes, you soon pick up what's changed. We had an update about a month ago, and there's a couple of subtle differences, but you soon get used to them. It's quite easy. But if anybody wants to help, or if they, I've fired off a few box files to people in the past. Not a problem. We'll probably have some samples if people want to make a donation. At Buildex. So, and again, if somebody wants to bring their own USB along, and they want us to put a file on for them, well, I'll do it, and I'm sure Terry would. So, it'd be a pleasure.
Excellent. That's a whole layout for you to print then. Excellent.
Well, yeah. I didn't actually say print. I said we but look,
that was wishful thinking on my part.
No, we're there for 2 days.
Yeah.
If somebody comes up quite early and says, "Can you?" we probably want. Yeah, I probably will. I don't think Terry's taken a printer. I think he's decided against it, but then he's got a super duper whatever. But that hadn't a problem. I think I've got a couple of turnout kits, cop ones that are wrapped up. If anybody wants to buy one, not a problem. Yeah, but no, come along, have a chat. We can show you. If you want to have a go, you can come around the back and have a go with the printer. Not a problem.
Brilliant.
Okay, so
any more questions from anyone before we wrap up? That's a no.
Yep, over to you, Ian.
Okay, I'm going to remove the spotlight from John.
You've got a few hours editing to do.
Editing won't take long, to be honest. Right, I'm just going to share my screen. And slideshow. Okay. For an evening with for September, Nigel Payne says, let's celebrate. The Stockton and Darlington Railway opened on the 27th of September 1825, giving birth to the modern railway. And he's going to be doing an evening about an 1871 Stockton and Darlington Railway smoking carriage. So that's the 26th of September 2025. Event goes live at 8 p.m. as usual, free to members and £3 to non-members. To register, go to the Guild website at the link at the bottom of the screen there.
Ian, can I just mention that Nigel's going to have a lot of stuff on display at Guildex because he has
Okay,
quite a collection of Stockton and Darlington stock. So he's going to have that on display as part of our acknowledgement of the fact it's 200 years of rail travel.
that's part of the display for the S&DR 200 Fringe that we're involved with
Yeah,
and promoting. Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant. Continuing for what is now the rest of the year after September, October, Paul Scott is doing a session about his very nice College Junction layout, which is based in his attic. And then for November, Tony Andrews will complete the year with Carriage Painting Part 2, where he will take us through things like Pullmans and lining coaches. So that follows on from his session earlier this year, which is very helpful to a lot of people. If you're not a Guild member, then please do consider joining. Enjoy quarterly gazettes, Guild news, online shows, events and activities like this tonight, or virtual show, which happens once a year, and access to the Guild forum, the website. Full calendar year is from for membership is from the date you join. This says all for just £30, but we now have digital membership starting at £25 for people who wish to join and become members. You go to the Guild website, on the home page, click on the About Us top left where the big red arrow is pointing to. That will open up a new page, a new drop down, which takes you to Join Online. And you click on that, and that takes you to the membership application form. And the current rates are there. So annual UK membership £30, overseas rest of the world £35. Student digital membership £5 and full digital membership £25. But you can also do a 1 month free trial and enjoy the benefits of membership online, just to get a feel of what the Guild is about before you may decide to then join for the full 12-month membership at the end of that 1 month. Oh, he's putting some new teeth in tonight. We then have our online social media platforms. So we've got Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube channel there, top right on the homepage. Our YouTube channel currently promoting 200 years of rail travel with Network Rail and Stockton and Darlington, wrong railway again, Stockton and Darlington Railway Fringe. We currently have it says 597 videos. I think we've now gone beyond 597 videos on the website, on the YouTube channel, but not all those videos are available to view by the public. So some of them you have to be a Guild member and get access via the Guild website to see some of those as well. As this is the 26th of August, leading into September, Guildex 2 days, Stafford the 6th and 7th of September, and as already mentioned tonight, both John Jones and Terry Downs will be attending as demonstrators over the 2 days. Now, is it just John doing the seminar on the Friday morning at 10?
No, I think it's Terry.
Terry, right. So thanks, Terry. So Terry's doing a seminar at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, all about things you've heard about tonight from John, and then he will be spending the rest of the weekend with John demonstrating. We're also promoting the Modern Image O-Gauge Model Rail exhibition on the 25th and 26th of October 2025, who are again supporting prostate cancer. good tie-ins with MyOG and the Guild. They'll be at GuildX with their own stand and a couple of layouts, and we'll be attending their show at Crewe as well with a Guild stand. So a lot of collaborative work there between our two groups. And for the end of the year, although this on the left-hand side says GuildX, our final show of the year is the Saturday, 6th of December at the Robin Park Leisure Centre, Wigan. It's our winter show. And if you remember and fancy doing some volunteering or supporting the Guild, then please do volunteer. Please put your name forward. We've got lots of open positions at the moment that we would like to fill with volunteers who can just spend some time helping at shows or helping with the website or just general volunteering across our society or organisation. So thank you for that.
We should specifically mention that if any of you who attend these evenings on a regular basis, we are looking for somebody to take over from Ian at the end of this year to actually organise speakers for the evening with. So there's a very good process and framework set up, but obviously it's just a case of actually making sure you've got speakers lined up for each of the 11 months that we have these seminars. And it would be a great shame if we lose them because we haven't got anybody to organise them. So if you enjoy the seminars, do consider, becoming an organiser. You don't have to be in the UK to do it. The seminars are online, and obviously being able to contact people and get them to do Zoom sessions can be done from anywhere in the world.
As Jackie mentions, there are templates for the PowerPoint presentation that we do at the end, for the intros, for the joining instructions. So it's very easy to just edit each one pertinent to just changing a name or two or a date and adding the Zoom link. Obviously, it doesn't take a lot of time to do. I mean, maybe an hour a month for each one. It's just the worst part of it actually is organising the artwork for Maid at Archetype, because he's usually so busy. You've got to make sure you get in early so you have the artwork in time ready for the next evening with. But if anybody is interested, then they can contact me via the Guild Forum or via my email address that's on the Guild Forum somewhere. I think it's on that whole page somewhere. And I can take them through, what might be involved or what is involved in doing an evening with. And I find it, over the last 3 or so years, I found it enjoyable because I've got to speak to and meet a lot more people that I wouldn't otherwise have met or got to know. Much like John tonight, and Terry as well, who I met at Campton Park. Okay. Don't know why Jackie's stuck in the frame.
Oh, what am I?
Yeah, it seemed to be. Anyway.
Well, we had you.
Say again, John.
We had you.
Oh, did you? Oh, I couldn't see me. I saw Jackie. Anyway. Oh, can see Jackie again. Right. I'd just like to thank everybody for attending this evening. I think it's been a very educational session from John of what's involved with 3D printed track, whether it's cut or carrot. I'm going to have to get my head around carrot track now. It's going to all sort of connotations. But thank you all. I'll get this edited as soon as I can and up on YouTube probably sometime tomorrow for anyone that wants to revisit it. Cheers, everybody. Good night.